Rumor has it that Courtney Cox and Patrick Dempsey are going to return for Scream 7. But it got me thinking, who else is going to return?
Hello, sinners. It is I, Father Evil, and I invite you to Destination Station on YouTube.
Bagels and go to Destination Station. This buddy is the bomb. Love it.
Yep.
Fucking A.
Yep.
I had to say that for a reason.
Freddie, take that, motherfucker.
All right. Okay. Fuck you. Yeah.
Jamie Kennedy. Subscribe to my man, Destination Station right now if you want the best content.
What's up? Welcome to Destination Station. As always, I'm Destiny. Thank you for clicking on this video. Subscribe to Destination Station if you want Scream, Halloween, and everything in between. And every town has an Elm Street, and all roads lead to Woodsboro. And today, I want to talk about Scream 7 and the possible return of all the legacy characters and maybe some old school characters from like past films. That's a big possibility. So yeah, stick around. Follow me on all my socials down in the description below. And so yeah, let's get
to the damn fucking part.
Get into this. Okay, so recently I've been seeing all this stuff come about that rumor has it that Courtney Cox is coming back. And you know what? I say that's a given, okay? If Neve Campbell is coming back and Courtney Cox, you know, survived the 6th film, then she's definitely going to be coming back for the 7th. Why would she not, right? We don't know how big her role is going to be. Is it going to be very minimal, similar to Scream 5 or Scream 6? Or is she going to be more of the forefront, like leading the movie with Neve Campbell? I mean, it could be a duo movie. But there's also rumors going around with Patrick Dempsey possibly coming back, especially with Neve Campbell coming back and her character, Sidney Prescott, is married to Mark Kincaid from Scream 3, and they have kids together. You would only imagine that they would try to get Mark, the character, back for Scream 7 because they are a couple now, you know. I mean, they could write in something like, oh, they're having a split or something like that. Mark doesn't know that I'm here, because that's always what questioned me in the 5th film was why, with him being a detective, why would he feel comfortable enough to let your wife go and be a part of a bunch of stuff in Woodsboro of there's killers on the loose whenever y'all both been through these events before in the past? That just doesn't seem like a protective husband to me, you know. And I've had some backlash about that, but you know what? That's my views on it, and that's how I feel about it. But I'm not saying that a husband should allow his wife to do anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that in his right mind, he would want to at least be there in case she was of need of him, you know, because there are killers. I mean, but my thing is like maybe Mark didn't know that she was, you know, flying down there and taking care of this, you know. Maybe they could play that something in Scream 7, you know, like that's why he's accompanying her this time, is because, you know, last time you snuck away and you did this without me knowing because you didn't want me to worry about you, but this time I'm coming with you. And with Patrick Dempsey coming back in the horror genre with Thanksgiving, which was a really good fun slasher. And he also put that thing out on Instagram, about a month ago, where he says, "Hello, Sydney." And he was in Sydney, Australia. But we all know you're toying with us here. So I have to assume that he is in talks. There is something on the table. There is a possibility for his return. We might get a husband-father duo. They might be our main lead, and Gail just be there as supporting, or it could be all three together. I'm okay with that, any which way they want to go. But who else could return? You know, are we really going to go back and have just a bunch of past characters come back, and this be one big fan service type of movie? You know, there's a possibility people say that Angelina from Scream 3 didn't die, you know, and she was supposed to be Roman's accomplice, and she could return. We got Jennifer Jolie. Parker Posey was awesome in that character. I wish she would have lived so she could have came back further, but who's to say she didn't live? You know, there was a little Easter egg in Scream 6 where she was at the theater. Her name was up there at the theater, which was kind of cool. Not meaning that she's going to come back, you know, it's just a little Easter egg or whatever, but it would be cool to see her character return. I think that it's a big possibility. If you can bring back Kirby, you know, that's another one. She survived Scream 6. Is she going to return? I could see her returning as well. And who other people could return? You know, we all got our fingers crossed that maybe Stu Macher can make it back, and we have this big showdown with Sydney and Stu. Yeah, that's a given. That's definitely up in the air. But you got Joel, the cameraman from Gail's cameraman in Scream 2. He was one of the smartest people in horror movie history, and he just left. But I could see him coming back. Like maybe he's working with Gail again, and is still his cameraman, and maybe Gail has kind of like persuaded him to come back and work with her, and you know, he could be on the suspect list. I mean, there's so many different possibilities of people that could return, and I know a lot people have went out on Twitter or X now, whatever you want to call it, and expressed their interest that they would like to return, and they've even said in interviews that they would like to return. That would be great, and it would be great for their career. It would probably revitalize it, kind of give them a little bit more push, because they have been kind of, you know, I haven't seen them in anything in quite some time, you know, with Dwayne Martin or Parker Posey. You know, it's been a while. They might be in some smaller projects that I've never seen, maybe. Let me know in the comment section below, but I haven't seen them in quite some time in films. And so yeah, it'd be a great to see them have a return, especially with this mirroring Scream 3. They could really toy with that, like bringing a lot of people back, especially from Scream 3. And with Kevin Williamson in the director's chair, he's a very smart and witty writer. And I know he's not down as a credit as a writer on this film, but you got to know that he's going to have some type of creative control over that script with Guy, okay? And Guy is a Stu Macher believer. And we know what Kevin Williamson's original idea was, to have him in Scream 3. So who's to say they don't put their ideas together and they're like, hey, we're going to actually do this, you know? And that we might get this big fan service film, which could make or break it. Part of me, I feel like, is the safest bet to do right now with the state that the Scream franchise is in. And I do want a lot of these characters, or all of them, to return. But on the other hand, I worry about, is it going to be too much if we bring too many characters back all at once, and it becomes sort of what's happened with this past weekend with the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire movie. Too many characters, too many different subplots and all this kind of stuff, and everyone doesn't have enough screen time to really shine with their characters or let it be fleshed out. And it's just like a bunch of cameos, you know, coming in. I really don't feel like they utilized Kirby in the last movie the best way that they could. They more used her as a red herring. Her character really wasn't very believable as an FBI agent. I would like a little bit more there. I'd like for her to have a little bit more forefront, and maybe she could be side by side with Sydney. I would like that. I think that would be really cool. So yeah, hopefully they flesh this out perfectly. They don't go too overboard with all the fan service stuff. I do believe that we are going to get Courtney Cox back. I think that's a given. We just don't know how huge her role is going to be, or how minimal. I do think it's time for Gail to go as well. So if you are bringing back a bunch of characters, you know, I think we're going to have a devastating death in this one. I do. I think they're going to be mean and hit it where it hurts, because the last one kind of played it safe. I felt like Scream 4 kind of played it safe too. And but with Kevin Williamson in the director's chair, I think he's going to do something great. But we got to remember this also, and I'm going to end it here, that Kevin Williamson is the director, okay? He hasn't directed too many things. You know, I remember him directing Teaching Mrs. Tingle, and I'm going to cover that here on this channel here very soon, because I want to revisit that movie and see his directing style. And what I remember is it was pretty cool. It was a fun movie. I remember they took a more lighter and comedy tone, because it was supposed to be like a darker movie and more suspenseful. But I do want to revisit that, because it is Kevin Williamson and it was Dimension Films, and it was a fun movie. So I just want to remember exactly how his directing is. And hopefully we can get Patrick Lussier back as the editor, and we can get Marco Beltrami back as the composer. And you know what? We got us a badass Scream movie, especially with some returning characters. I want to know, who do you want to return, and how do you want how much screen time do you want? You want them to just be simple little cameos? How much fan service you want in this movie? So yeah, let's talk about this. And do you think that Courtney Cox is back? Same thing with Patrick Dempsey. Do you think they're both back? And we're just going to have this fan service type of movie, but it needs to be more than that. It needs to be layers. And you know what? Kevin Williamson is very good at writing layers, and I believe in Guy as well. So what they're going to put together here is going to be a badass movie, in my opinion. We have not seen it yet, but I have trust in them. I have faith in them, and I think they're going to bring us something special. It's not going to be just your everyday Scream movie, and it's just going to leave us with a little bit of emptiness, you know, like Scream 6 did. All right, guys, this is Destination Station. For more Scream content, subscribe, stick around. Scream Talk this Friday night, 10 p.m. Central. I'll see you guys when I see you guys. I'll be right back.
I'll be right back.